And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for game one of today. It's, of course, Playday number 5 of stage 3 of the EU League competitive season of 2021. Welcome back to the Analyst Desk. I'm Miloš the Medic. With me are Jess and Fresh, and we're going to talk about our two squads. It's Vitality versus Team Empire. Let's first start with Team Empire that, hit or miss sometimes online. Is this the curse that's going to keep on going? Is this the same thing in the Russian Major League? I don't know what's going on.
I think I can confidently say that they're now teetering on the edge of not making the major. And there is two factors to this now. There's another team known as Kavana, who is unfortunately, snagged a big top spot at the moment outside. So it's pushed them into 5th place, which means Empire is now, on, I guess, knife's edge as to whether or not they're going to make the major or not. So they are going to have to put points on the board. Unfortunately for them, one overtime loss, out regulation loss means that they really need to accrue regulation win points just to be able to get themselves solidified in that top 4. So I'm worried because their online play has been pretty disappointing, I think is the word.
They looked fairly poor last week.
They did,
yes.
Yeah.
And it's worth noting they're also in 5th position in the overall standings. So EU finals
so
is also a question mark.
Wow.
I can't remember exactly. I think they're tied with Kavana in the overall standings. So it's kind of, they've got some improvements to make if they want to be hitting these kind of LAN events and the big tournaments.
So, of course, that will be a big matchup between them, at least when it comes to who positioned themselves how by the end of this stage. And, of course, Kavana won their head-to-head. It was 8-7, it was mentioned. So it was a close one, but that overtime win for Kavana might just be the thing that they need points-wise and for the head-to-head in the future.
It does give them head-to-head. You were just speaking about them being on the same points. Well, unfortunate for Team Empire, no matter how hard you try, you're still knocked out by the same team.
Exactly. So you got to have at least 1 point above Kavana. But Vitality on the other side, Fresh, they came in our last Playday. We saw, okay, heroic, they're active again. What are they going to do? And then Vitality just sweep them like they kind of did with Virtus.pro the week before.
Yeah, and they shut them down. And it's worth noting, I've been fairly critical of Vitality. They started Playday 1 probably in reverse. I'll show. I've got my watch on today.
Time.
Oh, you got the watch?
Yeah. They started Playday 1 in reverse, but they're going up through the gears. They hit gear 1, they hit gear 2. I'd say they're in about gear 3. They're hitting what I would call their kind of normal siege. They're beating the teams they should beat. What I want from them today is to step up another gear because they're on this upward trajectory with the last 2 wins. Empire are kind of there for the taking.
Yeah.
Vitality have definitely got the quality. We've spoken at length about their quality, but they've put 2 good performances in, and there's no reason why that should change today.
Oh, it's such a good opponent to go up against when you're looking to kick them while they're down. Empire is the one that's down and Vitality's running off momentum. I mean, I hate to put such a vivid sort of analogy in everyone's head, but that is what Empire really is right now. They're crippled on the ground, hoping that they can get back up and keep running. And Vitality is currently running right now. It's like a marathon, 2-person head-to-head, and unfortunately Empire's already tripped over at the line. So I think the Australians will understand the kind of skating reference I'm making in there. Yeah, there's an Olympic moment where we won because everyone else tripped over. Suckers. Australia #1.
What a thing to be proud of.
We are so proud because we won based off a technicality. But that's what Vitality can do right now is just take advantage of the situation the same way my man did in the Olympics. That's all we're after. Rendition of that.
Fair enough. Can't wait to see then what Vitality has to offer against Empire. But which map will we be playing on here today? Let's see. 7-map pool. 6 are down. 1 is left. And we're going to go to a classic clubhouse. Empire banning Bank, taking us to club. It's attack start for Empire as Vitality have picked defense. Honestly, you ask me, this is as classic of a map that you can go to. Back in the day, Empire was undefeated on this for over 20+ matches. But that has changed now.
It's still their highest win rate map, though. Let us not sort of stray away from the fact that if you take Empire to Clubhouse, you were taking a severe risk, and you know it. And that's something that even though Empire got the pick, Vitality have obviously constructed their bans in a way that they knew that that could be a possibility for the map. So they knew this was coming. However, give them the benefit of the doubt here, I don't remember the last time Vitality lost this map. Even in French League, I'm casting my mind back and I'm like, win, 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 win. Even stage 2 against Na'Vi, win, 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 win. I don't see a loss.
It was probably that loss against BDS where BDS just found wins out of absolutely nowhere, where Vitality should have won, if I cast my mind back.
Are we going stage 1 times?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, so
maybe
this is
even
a while
2020.
ago.
I can't remember.
Oh,
it was a long time ago, yeah.
There you go, wow. So they're both good.
So they're both good, but there used to be a saying a couple of years ago in kind of the pro circuit, which was never take a Russian team to Clubhouse.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Because they used to be very dangerous. Not so much anymore, but I had this pinned as a bit of a cafe, so it was interesting to see Vitality ban that one away.
Very excited then to see how this comes out between the two. Fresh there. Jess, thank you very much. We're going to be back to analyze things after this game is done, but first we have to go through the motions. It's Vitality versus Empire. We go to Clubhouse. Ready yourselves for a trip to Hanover. Let's hope it's not raining too much up north. We got Ace and Des to take you through it. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Milosh. I love how he says we've got to go through the motions first, as if just to get the game out of the way before we can analyse it and break it down. But he is right. There is a game of Clubhouse to get through first. It is an exciting one. The question is, does that Russian reputation precede Empire? Is this going to be a dominating game by the Russians? Or have Vitality got something to say about it, Ace?
Well, Clubhouse is certainly it's a bold strategy, Des, going up against Clubhouse.
Let's see if it pays off for him.
Going up Clubhouse against Empire. We'll see how it goes down. Now, we haven't seen Vitality play at this stage. We've seen Empire play it once. They won 7-2. But I've got some more interesting stats for you, Des. I know that you love a stat, and it's one that you've been talking to me about. You've been talking about rounds won based on opening kill, opening death. Well, let me tell you something. It don't look pretty for Vitality when they take the opening death. They have not won an attacking round when they have had the opening death. In stage 3, not a single one. They have only won 9% of their defensive rounds when they have taken the opening death. So only 9% of rounds, just short of 1 in 10, will Vitality win the round when they suffer the opening death. So if Empire can come in here and dominate the entry game, they could have a great day. But let me paint you a different picture as well. When Vitality do get that opening kill, Des, on the attack, 92% win rate.
Wow, so a real big swing for them.
It is a huge swing. The entry battle for Vitality at the minute is such a defining factor.
I would love to find out. It's one that's hard to put down in stats, but after getting the entry, how many kills they get in, say, the next 10 seconds? Because I'm thinking straight away of players like P4 for Vitality. And speaking of Vitality, something I always say about them is the thing that I think is quite easy to see about them is they feel somewhat predictable. You know that P4 is going to be this hyper-aggressive player on the entry, whether on defense or on attack, and can easily roll through 2 or 3 players given the right day and the right situation. We'll find out if this will be that right situation. The bans have been completed, the double hard breach ban of the Maverick and the Habana. And now bans on the defensive side, they're becoming very cookie-cutter these days. It feels like Ace, it's the Mira and the Valkyrie.
Yeah, you know, they're both, we've said it countless times, you know, we all know how powerful Mira and Valkyrie are. We're seeing the pick rates do pretty well when they're available. Valkyrie and Mira, and that just again doubles down on that point, does it? Just really tells us, you know, how valuable they are, because when they are available, they're up in the top 5, I believe, for the league in stage 3. I will have a quick look at that whilst I'm talking, but we're going to be going to Bar, interestingly, to start us off. Vitality on the defence. As I say, we haven't seen them on Clubhouse so far this stage,
cool.
which means that we haven't seen them on Bar and stage. So this is going to be interesting to see how they play. The majority of defences that we've seen have come out of teams like Na'Vi, Kavana and G2.
The big one that you often see is the top floor roam, which is what you've got coming out now, but it is nowhere near as invested as what teams like Na'Vi, Kavana, G2 have employed when going for the roam, because normally you'd have a mirror brought along, one looking out towards Jacuzzi, and another one on the construction logistics wall looking down into construction. With no mirror on side, this is where Vitality have got to adapt, and their adapt here is going to be forget about the full vertical hold. Let's also spread our wings a little bit out to the side and go in towards strip. With the bandit getting the walls isolated off, it's different to what we've seen so far on the stage, but I'm loving how we're seeing the different variations of this site attack coming out.
That's what I like when we get new sites coming in being you know, viable. It's always interesting to see how teams develop over time with them. Now, the question here that springs to my mind immediately, I'm not saying it will be the case, but will Vitality have overstretched themselves there? You know, we've seen how much pressure gets applied to that top floor because we know how important it is. I understand the need for getting into strip as well and preventing that breach through onto the pool table area. It's just trying to slow the attackers down, but does it leave them a little bit thin on the ground elsewhere? That's maybe something that Empire could take advantage of.
I mean, the one thing to think about is normally on a gym bedroom attack, you have to start out towards the east. And although there aren't enough reinforcements, I think, to commit fully out to a CC cache hold, there are enough at least to, say, reinforce the cache wall, the single wall inside of construction. There's definitely more stuff going on when you're looking at it that way. But Empire still got to worry about clearing across the entirety of the top floor, getting control of the gym bedroom, then looking to move downwards, worrying about what's going on in pool. This is a really expansive setup, which, like you say, could stretch Vitality a little bit thin. But Empire definitely shown that it can work, because we're halfway through the round and they're only just starting to take a look at what's going on inside gym and bedroom.
Oh, it's certainly risk and reward, as you say. You know, the more time that's burnt, and that is one of the factors that comes in with a really spread out defensive setup, you know, the better for your team. But if Empire could get control of the top floor here and then get themselves in through the stock wall, try to get a diffuser down on stage, you gotta win those always. P4 is going to shut his man down with a great kill to really halt the push of Empire, but Dan, he gives it a little bit of magic, a little bit of zhuzh that they need to get them going, shutting down P4 in a late trade and leaving us now 4 versus 4, but with only 50 seconds left to go, Des, it feels like Empire don't have anywhere near enough control to think about a plant.
I mean, here being blasted out by the Malusi, and you got the Yokais in for assistance. They're giving them a real run for their money up on the top floor. For Empire, as you say, this is the top floor they're still fighting over, not even the site. So much so there's a bit of panic now, dropping their way down aggressively. Shinka on the main stairs, daring someone like Shepard to come pushing in down the hallway. They've got themselves some kind of setup on stage, but without the full vertical cover. A little bit nervous for Empire here. We know they're not the best with the clock, but Dan's the man who can when it all comes down to it. Joystick and Dan both go in and find one more each. 4 versus 2, and it's all down to Cactus and Shinka. They've got these Yokais. We've seen Kendrew spoil the party the other day. This might happen yet again. They see the man going for the plant. We've seen this time and time again. There is no cover. He'll wait until the bitter end, gets another blast off, and they still haven't shot it. They know this is here, yet they're going to try and stick it out. The 1 versus 3. Now Shinka's got it all to do. Sees the man and gets to spray down, but just as the diffuser goes down, it's enough to basically guarantee Empire the round, unless Shinka can clutch. And my God, are they going to be counting their lucky stars after this round, Ace?
They really are. There's only one. I can only put it one way, and that is Empire have got away with one there, Des. They've just managed to get the Echo drone, but the flank comes in, and there's about half a second. There's about half a second before that diffuser goes down for the man on the flank to make the challenge onto the plant, but he just can't get there quick enough. And once it's down, Shinka then has a big job ahead of him, and he can't get it done as it all shakes down. But Empire were certainly playing with the clock there. They were very, very tight on getting that diffuser down, and really looked like the Echo Yokai drone was going to play spoiler again on that site.
It's one of the ones that you look at and say, they've done them there. They've had their pants down. They've got a win that arguably they shouldn't have got away with, because we spoke about the, 2.5 minutes they invested on the top floor, didn't have full control, thought, right, Hail Mary now, let's make our play happen from the stock side in towards bar and try and get this plant down. And with the players on the flank, with the Yokai drones, really looking at it and thinking for Empire, this is done and dusted, but they managed to get it off by milliseconds, by a hair. And Vitality sadly do lose the first round, but let's see how things play out in round 2 as now we head down into the basement, Church and Arsenal. And looking at the lineup coming out for the side of Vitality, I'm expecting to see this Mutant Mozzie out on the roam, Ace.
You would have thought so. There's already utility being expended up on that top floor, so we would expect to see them up there just trying to hold on to things for as long as possible. Once again, another strategy from Vitality to burn as much time as possible, Des, and that plays into what I know of Empire and their weaknesses. We've said it before, Empire often tend to struggle on getting things done in time. They push the clock as far as they can and sometimes leave themselves with limited opportunity to finalise the round and get it finished off. So I like that Vitality are looking at that and maybe thinking, yep, let's burn that clock down. Let's get into strip. Let's get on top floor for a bar stage hold. Let's make sure we're on top floor for Church and Arsenal. Let's force Empire to use every single second. But I like to see this from Empire. They're not messing about, Des. Inside 30 seconds, Thermite straight in. Shepard getting the east breach open. And now Scyther, he's over on the hot tub wall as well, getting that open with the Selma charges that I think I've just heard opening up that wall. And they're going to try to push forward, but P4 could spoil the party here from the pool table.
You did see how ineffective the mute jammers are there, by the way. I say ineffective, they're not really built for Walden Isle anymore because it's still down on the wall, mind you. But now what you can do, and you could kind of get away with it before as far as I'm told by Pengu, you can put the Thermite exothermics down on either corner of the top side of the wall now, and it will still open the wall off because of the spherical radius coming out of the mute jammer. So really, teams probably now need to find an alternative to doing this. If there's a thermite on the board, that wall is going to be opened. There's just nothing to stop it, right? It will be opened up. Rise onto Joystick, though, on their push through. And once again, Empire, 90 seconds in the round, have barely done any work on clearing this top floor.
That's great play from Rise there. We saw him getting heavily challenged from construction, dipped himself away and just took the fight on his own terms, managed to get himself back out, find a headshot onto Joystick and shut the Iana down. And that is, like I said at the beginning of the game, let's not forget those stats that I brought out. That is the start that Vitality need. They win a lot of rounds. It's 69% on defense, 92% on attack when they get that first kill, so it's extremely important to them. 2 rounds so far and 2 opening kills for Vitality, and it's something that Empire are going to need to improve on, not just when it comes to managing the clock, Des, but when it comes to getting that man advantage.
A lot of work to do, and it's always here inside of the hallway, doing what Sledge does best, knocking a few holes in the floor to give them some good angles down into Arsenal. But then it's where they want to try and push from. Is it going to be main stairs? Might look towards dirt. Could have someone coming in through kitchen. Given there's no one on the dirt side, not expecting that to be a thing. And with the hatch now being opened up into Moto, that's a suggestion. Main stairs and Moto looks to maybe be the play they're going for here. They've got to speed up, though, because now they're down to, well, 2 members technically, as always, has been down by the C4 from below. So in a 5 versus 3 now that he's back on his feet, call it a 5 versus 2.5 if you really want. Not looking pretty.
Certainly not, just trying to find those vertical angles as quickly as possible, but the clock is going to be the enemy for Team Empire here once again. 3 versus 5, they're going to have no choice but to drop through that hatch. Shepard somehow getting the diffuser down, always is looking to cover the angle, but there comes the Nitro, doesn't stop him. Shepard gets it down, they've leveled things up here, Des. This is unbelievable as the kills start to rain in. It's 2 versus 2, and all of a sudden Vitality find themselves massively on the back foot. Rise, he's heading upstairs, but Scyther's well aware. He's going to hold the angle on the door. He's just waiting for the man to approach. Shots are exchanged, and Rise, he manages to get the kill. That might be the opportunity that they needed. Cactus finishes off Shepard, and that was a close one for Vitality. A big retake there. And Rise, he really wins that on that gunfight up in kitchen.
I mean, imagine if he didn't. They lose that gunfight in kitchen. He's got the vertical cover. That's another round going the way of Empire, potentially. Very fortunate that he landed such critical shots to get the round over the finish line. But man, you can't be in a spot like that where you've got yourself down to a glorified 5 versus 2. There's 10 seconds on the clock. All 5 are alive, and you let the plant get stuck for a start. Not only that, but you let it burn down to a 2 versus 2. It's ludicrous.
That was the surprise, really, was the plant actually going down. You know, even seeing Shepard, it's 3 versus 5. I'm thinking Empire need to start looking for a few kills here, but no, bang, straight down the hatch, start getting the diffuser down. And like you say, I think Vitality just slipping a little bit there, allowing that to happen. But that being said, it was a good retake from them. They were able to get it in. But if that gunfight goes another way up in kitchen, then, like you say, that is another Empire round. But we're heading into round 3. It is 1 apiece. And just like their standings almost everywhere, Des, this is a close affair so far. I think it's worth just really exaggerating and just really laying down those stakes inside of the league here at the minute. It is 1 point separating these 2 teams inside of stage 3. Yeah. On the overall, it is only 3 points separating these 2 teams for the entire 2021 season. And that separation, Des, comes in 5th and 6th place. And that is a big difference. That is a big, big difference. Fighting for 5th place upwards is key for these teams.
I mean, if G2 carry on down their current trajectory, you might find the winner of this game, if they can accumulate enough points over the stage, do take over that top 4 spot, and suddenly it's like, oh dear, things are suddenly going south very, very quickly. And yeah, sure, it's been a bit dicey so far for Empire on the attacks. We know they aren't the fastest in the world when it comes to general executes, but this has been going on for some time now. Like, even looking back to Mexico, prior to Mexico, so far all 5 games this stage, the attacks have been somewhat of a problem for this Russian side.
Certainly have, and of course both teams going to be fighting hard for that 4th place overall to get themselves through to the finals, and they're going to want to keep themselves on the chase. Empire, of course, tied with Kavana on points, which was mentioned on the pre-desk, but they certainly don't want Vitality breathing down their neck, which a 3-point win here ties all 3 teams up for that 4th place spot. So that is the scale of things. That is the size of the prize here that we are dealing with today. Now, Always has got himself into garage very quickly there. He's going to start opening things up. The site isn't in CCTV cache, don't worry, we're on a gym bedroom attack here, but they look and they need to clear out this east side. First of all, the Gemini clone just takes the attention of Bibu there. He doesn't realise there's a man quite so close behind it, but Dan, he's going to get traded out by P4, but this is the interesting time, Des. It's the first time we've seen Empire get that opening kill. Can Vitality overcome their poor stats when taking the opening death? Right now, it doesn't look like it, as Empire managed to keep themselves in the driving seat after kills are traded back and forth, and it's 3 versus 2.
It's just Trade City up here, man. Call it the stock market. Back and forth between the two. 3 versus 2 as it squared things out. And the most important factor of all is that Empire have got buckets of time to work with as well. 75 seconds to play in a 3 versus 2. This is one of those rounds that you look at and say, realistically, you should not be losing this round. Not the way the last two have done, with the plant going down in the final 3 seconds of the round. They've got time, which is exactly why you've got Scyther taking a second to pause, get on the drone, find out where these last 2 players are. But I imagine once you identify Shinka and Cactus are lurking around the site itself, that's when you can really start applying the heat. All that said, Ace, we have already burnt through 30 of those 75 seconds, so come on, boys, let's not leave it down to the last second again.
That's it, Empire. You've got to work with the odds here. You've got the opening kill, and Vitality have got a very low win rate when they take that opening death. You need to press on that pressure point here. You need to push the issue, and you need to take advantage of it, and finding the next kill is going to be a big part of that, but always he's going to find himself downed on the windows. There's Cactus. He drops down underneath. He's going to look to rotate back up the main stairs, but that leaves both of Vitality in the same location. Scyther, oh, he sees the frostbite. You see that panicking me then? I didn't think he'd seen it. I thought he was going to go in. He manages to make a challenge, takes out the bulletproof cam, and it's looking good for Empire right now. 3 seconds, but Shepard, he's going to have to start getting this diffuser down. He's going to have to stick it. Shinka, he's going to manage to down one. How many times can he do this? Shinka managing to turn the round over again. He knows that there's no challenge coming in from Always, and he looks just as good as that seasonal skin on his weapon, Des, as he finishes off the round. Sheer class coming out of Shinka.
Oh, okay, well, that one you look at and say that should have been an Empire round, but for Vitality to swing it back is all on Shinka. Big play on the main stairs, not droned out. Empire with only 2 drones throughout the entirety of that 75-second window that we were breaking down, and a massive clutch coming out. I thought for a second he didn't see Shepard going for the plant, and I thought, don't finish the guy off on the ground, kill the guy who's planting in front of your face, mate. But gets the little flick across and does finish off Shepard, who equally could have landed that last couple of shots that would have been crucial. However, no matter which way you want to paint it, it is Vitality at a 2-1 scoreline. These rounds coming razor close and down to the wire, and I'm hoping the whole game stays that way.
It's been a great affair so far. Like you say, let's have these all down to the final 10 seconds. Shepard, just, you can see it here. Shinka comes in. He sort of judges the situation, I think. The problem is with the down players, you've always got to be careful because, of course, they're feeding information into the other players. So you've always got to be careful with that. And he doesn't necessarily know for certain that Always is down. He's going to have a good idea at that point because there's no third man coming in to make a challenge. But just choosing to take the down man, make sure there's no information to be fed in, no live cameras effectively knocking about. And Vitality, they're going to move on the defence here, and so far they're giving Empire a good run on the attack of Clubhouse. They managed to get 2 rounds. Round 4 is going to see them defending CCTV and Cash this time. Now, I'm interested in this heavy bandit setup, Des. We've got the deployable shield there to try and protect him.
This is a throwback.
They're going to try and keep this wall closed.
I remember the craziest setup I've seen on this wall come through before is having a bandit with a shield there. The door is then panelled or reinforced, whatever you want to call it, and then there's also a clash stood there to help try and soak it up at the same time. They're just basically teams committing super hard to making sure this stays closed. It's a bit of an old school setup. We haven't seen this sort of thing for a long time, but one does get denied away, I think. No, it was taken off the wall at the last second by Shepard, but he's doing a great job here. Bibu of balancing this one back and forth. The problem is you can't get both at the same time, and the second one will go off, which means eventually they can get this exothermic off on the right panel should they choose. But I imagine here the Selma will be enough, and they'll want to get this exothermic over towards the west side and look at opening up construction.
That's the important thing here is the burning of that utility, because of course they like to open the garage underneath the rafters to try and help with the clearance of that area. You've got the potential for opening construction wall. Some teams will like to get into garage and open the garage through to the CCTV just near the server stacks, try and get that access into the plant site. So there's a lot of potential for your hard breach utility on this site. So having burnt out one of those Selma chargers, having Shepard have to juggle those exothermics is not a bad start from Bibu there, and it also wasted quite a lot of time. We're at the 1:30 mark, and Rise still not really coming under any significant challenge inside of the garage. And as I suggested, Shepard getting over there with the exothermic on the thermite and opening up the lower garage, so the pressure will start to mount on Rise very, very soon. And look at this joystick, he's going in for that opener, he's looking for the man inside a bar, but can't make the bullets stick at the moment.
Should be all the confirmation that you need on the side of Vitality to know this is not going to be a construction push, but instead it's going to be this. Oh, it feels like a real El Clasico attack on this site, really, Ace, to be honest with you. Rise finding always immediately traded out. Honestly, the number of trades in this game so far have been great. Really good to see the team play coming in between both sides.
I mean, absolutely in terms of the attack, Des, and I would say generally speaking, P4's on a little bit of a flank here. I'm not sure if he's been spotted out or not. Scyther's drone's knocking about, but that was actually up in sight. It's not in the lounge underneath, so P4 could be home and free here. If he just hangs around, he might well catch them in the late round. Joystick just joining Shepard on that east breach. They're looking to move in through there rather than the garage. They've got control of it, but they've got two men holding the east breach. Dan's looking to move in soon and get that diffuser down, but they could just do with one of those walls open, but he chooses to go in through the window. It's always a little bit risky because the man on red stairs can make the challenge, but here comes P4. This could be massive. I don't think Scyther's got any clue at all. No, P4, you cannot miss those shots. Scyther, Joystick, they managed to get their kills. Dan, he gets the diffuser down, and this is looking like an Empire round all day as Joystick moves up the red stairs, finds a kill onto Shinka. It's 1 versus 3 though as Bibu. He starts to fight back with the bandit, but he's got an awful lot of work to do. Empire have had time to retire now into their post-plant positions. He knows there's going to be one on the catwalk, but there's a little challenge that he can make. There's not great visuals for him there. The line of sight just blocked out by the wall a little bit. He can't see the man. Has to make the challenge on the east breach instead. Shut down. And that's going to be Empire closing out and bringing us back. Level 2 versus 2 on the scoreboard.
You can see why normally, Shepard, but especially Empire as a team are getting so many plants down as well. It is always super objective focused. It's not the quickest, but there's no, let's go and chase down P4 and have a real scrap out on the roam. No, our focus is the objective and we'll deal with him when he comes back to try and deal with us. And realistically, you've got to be looking at him there and saying, P4, those are the kind of shots you cannot
He'll be kicking
missing.
himself. He'll be kicking himself.
I mean,
there.
he's basically whiffed a full mag onto a stationary ace there.
Yeah. And the thing is,
You did that.
I'd like to think so. I'm not having a go at P4, and he's a much better player than I am, worlds apart. But I'd like to think that I'd have got that, if I'm honest. The thing is, it was...
not very humble, are you, at all, Ace?
It was an important moment, because if P4 gets that kill, there's no retreat for the planter. Because there's a man in garage, so the planter can't get out onto catwalk anymore. So then the entirety of that post plant is out on East Breach, and that can be managed a little bit differently. Still not going to be easy, but P4, he can always try a run out from garage door. He can really start mixing things up a bit at that point. So it was a really pivotal moment there, and that's unfortunate for P4. As I say, he'll kick himself. Hopefully, he can just shake that one off quickly, get back into the game. He just needs to focus on round 5 now. That one's done. Forget about it. On we go. 2 versus 2, and what a game we get in here.
To be fair to P4, it's not often you see him ever really whiff a shot.
No, absolutely not.
He's the kind of terror that's charging around a map and killing 2 or 3 people out on the roam, being really aggressive and really mobile on roams. That is his play style. We'll never forget him being waiting at Bank Square door, for example. As soon as Alems opens the door, P4's like, hey, yeah! Instant kill to the face and goodbye. Here, though, the wall is being opened up. We spoke about the mute jam and not necessarily needing to be something you worry about earlier on, but they will clear it off anyway with the EMP coming through. And it's going to be a similar setup to before, where we know that Vitality are off on the full roam all the way up. The big challenge for me is going to be how much quicker can Empire be. If you recall last time, they were down to that 5 versus, 2.5 is what I called it, because Always was down but not out for a while. And here we go. Look at it. It's one of them trying to be cheeky. If it's not P4, it's Rise, and Dan has his number.
Absolutely punished the man there. Knew exactly what was coming and shut down Rise. Rise had some big moments so far this game, so that could be a big loss for Vitality. Empire going to want to punish them now that they've managed to get that opening kill. We can see Bibu dropping back to site, and that is now Vitality. All back and accounted for, Des, and Empire not going to have the same wars this time with the clock as they did last time. They've got, well, they certainly shouldn't. If they do, there's big questions to be asked. 1 minute 40, they've got top and mid floor clear. They've got access to everything they need. They can start opening hatches. They can start thinking about their access to site.
So what always concerns me is when they do the kind of step one, get the wall open. Oh, great, 30 seconds in, you got the wall open. Great, nice, good pace. And then everything really slows down in the mid-round for Empire, where there's still so much work to be done. And it just seems to be, in this case, again, it's a similar story. They've got the top floor out, they've killed a man on the entry and thought, okay, now we can look to back away and, take our time a little bit. They are starting to work on the hallway now with about 70 seconds or so to play, but have got to be so wary of that pre-place that we saw on the kitchen floor, or I guess the Arsenal ceiling. Someone steps inside there. It looks like it might be Always who's going to work out to be the victim. They've got 2 C4s here ready to go, Ace.
Yeah, it's not Bibu's. His is still in hand. We see one detonated. That is not going to do the job. P4 still has one in hand as well. Now then, Scyther gets a great kill onto the Melusi, and that clears out the space underneath kitchen hatch. They've still got Shinkaru, who could be a problem down at boxes, but this is great work from Team Empire. We saw them get the diffuser down with certainly a lot less control than this previously does. 30 seconds left to go. They need to start pushing the point here. They need to start trying to get themselves in. We don't want a last 10-second plan to gain. That's going to clear out the Banshee now. Are they aware of P4? No, they're not. He steps out and gets an easy one onto Joystick. Can he find himself a second? No. Shut down by Jam, but Cactus, he gets one meanwhile onto Shepherd, who would normally be the planter here, so they're going to have to recover the diffuser as well. 10 seconds left to go. Cactus with the Alder. He's got a real job to do, but he's got the gun to do it. It's either going to try and get that diffuser down. He will be successful. Nothing that the Maestro Cam can do here. He tries his best, but it is not enough. Now then, just going for diversionary tactics as he opens up the wall, but shut down by one of the many angles that Team Empire had covered, and that was a very convincing round from the Russians.
Much better, yeah. I mean, a bit hectic on the kills again, I guess. A wicked shot coming out of, I think it was Dan in oil to shut down P4. And then we had that craziness around the drop in blue that just didn't go Vitality's way. A couple of moments you'd look at and say, well, that one was a coin toss. It could have gone the other way. But ultimately, it's Empire walking away after 5 rounds with 5 plants, Ace. Again, one of the top teams for doing it in Europe and showing up in form here today when it comes to their executes. The last defensive round coming out for Vitality. We've got to see some magic here. We know they can do it. We know that they are a solid team on the right day. But it does feel here that even though Empire are running things down to the wire, and a lot of that is on the basis of Vitality's excellent roams and disruptive play, that it just isn't quite enough to get over the finish line.
I mean, we've got to point out as well, yes, it is a very strong statistic that Empire have had 5 plants in 5 rounds so far, 100% record. They could potentially make it a 6th here. But it's also worth mentioning that 40% of those Vitality have managed to get the retake. And that is a very good retake rate for defenders as well. So Vitality are playing well here. And we've got 2 very, very evenly matched teams, not just in this game today, but overall in Stage 3 in 2021. These are 2 teams that find themselves very, very close in all relevant statistics, essentially, especially those league positions. Now then, Vitality, they're going to choose to take Church and Arsenal as their final defence this time around. Team Empire, in the last round, got the opening kill, forced them back to site quickly and used the time well. Vitality, they need to burn more of the clock.
And not go peeking this time as well, I think, is the key one. Rise was so keen to go for an aggressive peek out the bedroom door, window, sorry. And with him being shut down, they didn't have anyone to play on those angles that you've just seen set up inside Logistics. They had the pre-play C4 on Kitchen. They've got the holes above inside of Logistics. You can clearly see what the game plan is essentially coming out of Vitality, but that early death just took a lot of the power away from it. They had half the players contesting Kitchen that they would have liked. Then we saw the kill come through that kitchen hatch once it got opened up. So I'd like to see Rise be a bit more passive here and look to maybe keep himself alive back on site. Let's not make it a 5 versus 3 and leave Empire all that time still to execute with.
As I said in the last round, Rise has shown us some fantastic play so far, so absolutely needs to keep himself in the game because he has been influential now. P4 just taking a little run out there. He's going to take a chip of damage. He's going to take a chip of damage off Dan. He's not going to do too much. Thatcher able to fight him off, but I tell you what, he's not stopping just yet, Des.
Why would he? It's P4. The man doesn't know how to stand still,
He's
let alone
stuck, though.
not go for a spawn peek.
That's the problem.
This is the thing now, right? They know that he's there, and they've done really well to adapt here. They've got a drone inside. Now it's a case of Joystick to go on the hunt for him. So where I mentioned earlier on, Empire didn't care about roamers. When there's a freebie sat here, you know that he's trapped and he can't go anywhere. You can just be patient and let him come to you.
That's it. They can just burn his time now. They'll be aware of the run out. They'll have taken everybody away from any potential angle, and they're just going to sit there. Joystick's going to hold that line of sight, and basically P4, unless he comes up with something really special, Des, he's as good as dead at this point, because Joystick should just go in and shut this down. As you say, time is an important factor. He knows he's been drawn. He can take the challenge. In comes the nade, but Joystick, there you go. That's the freebie that we were talking about. Gets himself the kill. 1 minute left to go. Empire starting to shape up. They know they've got the mid-floor control. It's time to get those hatches, time to pressure site.
Yeah, I mean, that's spent a bit of time doing so. They're giving themselves about 50 seconds, same as in the prior round, to make this one work. You got Bibba downstairs with the C4 once again. So a repeat coming out for Vitality in terms of the style of defense that they want to be employing here. But given you had always dodging around it on the last round on the sledge, hopefully doesn't get himself caught out here, hits the hammer and then always steps away. And that's normally when a C4 comes swinging out the other side. And there it is. Well played once again by Always to keep himself going.
Yeah, you just got to keep yourself very, very mobile. We saw the yellow pings coming in for Bibu there, just trying to give as much information as they could do, but it wasn't enough for him to be able to locate his man now. Shepard, he's up above, he's got that diffuser in hand once again. He's no doubt going to be looking for that kitchen drop hatch. It's really been Empire's play to get dropped down there and to start to get it in just inside of that Ash Rush spot. Now then, what a shot from Bibu, straight through the softball. He's going to take a lot of damage here, but it doesn't matter because body after body is falling on the side of Empire, and they come tumbling down like a house of cards, Des, as they get absolutely erased by Team Vitality in that final defensive round for them. And that is 3-3 now at the half, a dead even split.
Nice. I mean, that's kind of what you want out of a half, isn't it? To ensure an even and close game. That's what we like when we like the words that generally follow with an O and a T. Overtime.
Not today, Des. Not today. Surely not.
Don't even start on that, Ace. We always know how it plays.
It's only game one.
It's only game one. It's going to be a long day if things carry on, given we've got 3 games to get through today. But that round, I think, more what you'd have expected to have seen in round 5 with how things were shaping up. A couple of chaotic pushes coming out of Empire. Vitality unable to get the kills, but doing the job in round 6. Now, no bar stage shenanigans coming out in the first round for Empire on their defense. They're going very much bread and butter here. They're going for the mozzarella pizza is the way they're starting this one out. Ace down in the basement. Pretty typical setup coming out of here with the Rowan, with the Mute and the Mozzie coming out, as we're very used to seeing by now.
Where do you stand? Where would you stand on pineapple on pizza, Des?
To
say that we've been casting together for so long now, I feel like this is a big hole in my knowledge about you. It's a very important question, and I just don't feel like it's something that we've ever discussed.
Well, we had the Breakfast with the Brits thing where we had a bit of a falling out about what goes on crumpets. Because you've never tried Primula cheese. Someone did back me up on Twitter for this yesterday. Who was it?
People.
No, it was Leon. It was Leon.
People will back you up on Twitter for anything.
No, because Leon said Dairy Lee on crumpets is magic, and then trust me, until you've tried it, you don't know. I'm the same about pineapple on pizza. Fantastic.
Okay.
That tells me you're not a fan.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all.
Swine.
I don't think it belongs, Des. But it's just it's the contrast of you and I, Des. We always seem to fall on opposite sides when it comes to the food coin. But
yeah, I'm right. You're wrong. You're right.
We've moved on to the opposite side of the coin for both of these teams now, as we find ourselves in the second half. Team Empire on the defence this time. P4 comes in with an absolute slaying of Scyther there with a nice headshot on towards the top of Red Stairs. They're going to be attacking onto Church and Arsenal, but clearing out those roamers very important. Now, remember those numbers that I told you at the beginning of the game, Des. On the attack, opening kill for Vitality, 92% win rate. 0% if they don't get it. But they've got it here in round 7. Can they continue with the numbers?
I mean, given P4 is on a slither of HP, there's maybe an argument to say no. He has got the 2 frag grenades in back pocket. They've, of course, got the 2 coming through from Rise at the same time. And Joystick looking to be the aggressor coming up the side of Adam Stairs here, just to keep P4 back, because he knows a single bullet. Doesn't matter whether it's from a deliberate shot or just a pre-fire around the corner, whatever it may be, he will be donezo and out the round. Down with a pretty aggressive C4 coming in. If only he knew that always probably should be dead if he wasn't on the other side of the wall at the time that spray came through.
That's it. I think there's a bit of information obviously being fed in into his location, tries to make the challenge, but the brick wall just going to save him for the time being. And the thing that Always is doing here, Des, is absolutely burning the clock down. He's at 1:20 now and still going, taking a ton of damage. You can't keep running cross there, Always. Come on. He's just giving him every opportunity to gun him down there. I think he thought he was going to get challenged from the door angle and he was becoming extremely uncomfortable in logistics, but that's now going to leave Empire 5 versus 3. 1:05 left on the clock, so Vitality, they need to get a wriggle on, but they do have the time that they need.
They do, yeah. 60 seconds to play within a 5 versus 3 is not too bad, unless you're Empire or Virtus Pro, apparently, who aren't so hot with the clock. But Vitality haven't quite struggled in the same way that the Russian teams have historically, so this for them should feel pretty comfortable. Looking now to get themselves blue open as Joystick assumes his position behind the stack here, no doubt with some ADSs in support. Rise starting to do some renovations around the hallway, so they are looking for that multi-sided push that we're so used to seeing. It's not all going to be dropped down blue and hope for the very best. In fact, there's two of them looking to push their way down there now. Cactus down main stairs, one maybe going for a drop, so they can afford a kind of 3-angle push coming in here, Ace, with about the 25 seconds they've still got left on the clock.
We've seen Vitality throw away leads like this previously and allow the diffuser down when they were on defence. They need to make sure that they take advantage. Joystick just taking a little look before engaging. Will wish for his life that he had pre-fired that one as he gets shut down. But Dan, he manages to find one. The diffuser's been left in bar. Rise is going to collect it and he's ready to get himself into sight now. Doesn't need to as Cactus finds the final kill on the breach there. Closes out the round and that's going to be Vitality. Successful once again after getting that entry kill.
Yeah, quite a comfortable round, all things considered, out of Vitality. Yeah, those first 2 kills coming in from P4 on the top floor, massive. We spoke about him earlier on, about how he is this more aggressive player. On the defense, he'll be out running around as fast as his little legs, or his big legs, I don't know how tall the guy is, to be honest. As fast as they'll carry him either way, looking to get himself busy and find a couple of kills. On defense, a little bit stifled, I think, as we saw from Empire. Good watch onto window peaks and aggression coming out of those roamers. On attack, the man is unhinged, especially when there's a little bit of drone work coming in for him as well. A good first round for Vitality. Can it continue into round 8?
Well, that's the big question now, and it's the one that we are about to answer. We're heading up to gym and bedroom. Empire deciding to move on from Church and Arsenal. They're not going to double down and try things in the basement. Again, they're going to move themselves all the way up to the top floor. Now, it was interesting when we talk about bar and stage, Des, to see that it wasn't a site that Vitality tried twice. They gave it one go and then they were happy to move on from there, and it's just in that sort of position at the minute where it's time for teams to start feeling it out. We've got teams that are obviously becoming quickly comfortable with it, such as Na'Vi, for example. G2 also had a very good defence on there with Kayak in that position by the jukebox to try and shut down the stage plant. Loved it, but there's still a lot of work for teams to do, and whether Empire are comfortable enough to go down there, do they take maybe CCTV cash out of their rotation and bring in bar stage? We'll see in the next round or two, but certainly a point to watch out for.
Just wait for overtime, Ace, is all I'm going to say. When we get there, that's when you bring out the spice and the sauce. Whether or not they choose to bring it out a bit sooner, of course, is something only they know. We'll find out as the rounds progress, but here it is, gym and bedroom. Nothing really worth shouting home about in terms of the setup. I wondered if we were going to see, and I forget if it was APAC that did it or if it was something we saw in EU, where we had both Maestro and Alibi both running around with the ACS-12. Was it EU or was it APAC? I forget.
That's it. It was APAC.
A lot of shotguns does just scream APAC in my head.
It sounds very APAC. Bibu's going to get that wall open any second now. That's going to give the access through the hot tub wall. We've got Empire just really stacking up here, knowing that the majority of pressure, at least at this side, is coming in from the west side. It's all going to be aimed towards moving Shepard out of his position, which is exactly what they're going to do. They've got that bathroom wall open as well now, so Empire really on the back foot at the minute. Des, Vitality all pushing from one position. They need to start finding kills, and that's exactly what they do. Rise goes in aggressively and finds Joystick. Shepard's on low health on the Maestro as well. Rise looks to make the challenge around the corner, does not manage to find Dan. No, he does. He gets him on the trade. They kill each other. Cactus, he's onto Shepard, finishing off the Maestro. 4 versus 2 now. Vitality starting to run away with things here, and there's still an absolute age left on the clock. we've got Always with the shotgun just led inside of logistics at the minute, but it's going to take more aggression than this does. He's not making any challenge here. The diffuser's going down. Cactus is going to stick it. He manages to find... No, he doesn't.
No,
I thought he gets one with the SMG, but the recoil is his enemy at long range there. Shut down from the hatch, and that was another great attack coming out of Vitality.
It's just like Fresh mentioned, I think in the pre-show, he said throughout the stage they've kind of ramped up in the gears. They started out in first, got into second, and now they're sort of middling along at third. And I think in this half now, you're starting to see them move in towards fourth. The last 3 rounds, they have walked away with 4 players still alive. A little bit close on the clock at points, sure, but still decisive wins over Team Empire as it stands. Empire again looking a little bit slow and unsure necessarily what pace Vitality will come at them with. Admittedly, many wouldn't expect someone like Rise to go crouch walking through bathroom and immediately take a gunfight onto bedroom. You think once Jacuzzi is open and bathroom is clear, you take time to drone and slow things down and go, okay, where are the players? What's the play we're going to make here? Apparently, crouch walk through was not what they had Rise doing, more expecting it maybe as someone like P4. But a great way to get that round opened up, and Empire now really needs to start finding an answer. Gym bedroom once again we're going to step into, and nothing really worth shouting home about in terms of changes. In fact, it is identical to what we saw in the previous round, so Empire clearly believe they know what the problem is.
Honestly, the answer is that Empire need to get some opening kills whilst they're on the defence, because, as I've said, Vitality seriously struggle on the attack when they take those opening deaths, and that trend has continued. They've got the opening kill in round 7 and in round 8, and all they're doing is improving that statistic, whereby if they get the opening kill on attack, they tend to go on and get the round, and Empire really suffering to that at the minute. As you say, they're obviously confident that they know what the problem was, heading straight back to gym and bedroom. All the pressure from Vitality just came straight, spearheaded through hot tub wall. They just went absolutely route 1 and smashed Empire's defence into pieces. Now then, are they going to try anything different this time? It certainly looks that way as they get the east breach open, so that's going to give an opportunity to move in towards cash, and they're looking to pressure onto construction as well, maybe just going to recover that Selma device. No, they're going to leave it there for the time being. It's stuck in a mute jammer. All they need to do is clear that jammer off and the Selma will activate automatically.
In this case here, bring along the Thatcher. Easy peasy. Easy as 1, 2, 3. We saw them committing some of these earlier onto the CC wall when there was a mute jammer on it, although as we saw back in the first half, you haven't strictly got to worry about that. It's more about the opening game for Vitality, mind you. They're looking towards Jacuzzi, they're looking towards CC, they've got the single wall open. Lots of things just being opened up and set up in general, so they can choose to commit their attacks. And here, the committal is going to be out towards Jacuzzi. Another EMP coming in for good measure. Nice and simple. And the Selma straight into bathroom. Look at the pace they're moving here. It's like clockwork. It's beautiful to watch. And it's Cactus with the opener onto Dan.
Once again, Empire just suffering that loss in the beginning of the round. Joystick manages to level it up as he finds a headshot onto Bibu. That takes down the Thermite, but his work is done. That is not the end of the world. Both breaches have been opened up, so his job is largely completed. Cactus is going to have the diffuser in hand, so Vitality, they will continue on much the same as they were previously. Scyther, he's being held over in this cash side, and this is pretty smart play from Vitality, Des, because they don't really have anybody pushing the East Breach. Scyther's being held up by a ghost at this point.
You say held up, but also by some token. I think he's just skulking around, hoping to have an impact. Now, Vitality should have drones set up over that side of the map. I mean, nades would be a pretty good way to deal with him as well. But nades, oh my god, drones set up over there to watch if he does try to go for the west window, in which case be able to catch him out. That Marshal doing a little bit of work for them there as well to deal with anything that would have gone onto the wall. It's not fully open, so we're not going to see another Rise charge through bathroom like we've seen previously. So there's nothing to worry about there, I think. P4 with a great nade from below. Goodbye, Joystick. Naded from below and taken out 1, 2, and 3.
Easy as that, and Vitality once again looking to now get themselves in through that hot tub. Here comes Always, though. Finds an absolute freebie downstairs onto P4 as they're completely unaware of the man on the flank, but the Vitality tide just continues here as Rise drops himself into Logistic and finds 2. Always, he's left trying to make any sort of impact that he can from underneath. Out goes the Nitro, will be unsuccessful. He doesn't find anybody. Cactus is actually out in bedroom getting that diffuser down, and Always, he's left out in the cold here, and surely this is only going in one direction as he tries to push himself back up red stairs now and make any sort of challenge that he can onto site.
I think we know exactly how this one is going to play out. Empire once again just caught sleeping, sat static. No real answer to what was coming out of Vitality. The nades from below, the longer range shots, everything just looked wonderful. Admittedly, a 2K coming out of Rise in the drop. That's the sort of thing that will really get the blood pumping and get Vitality careering towards the 6-3 scoreline. Always no hope of getting a defuse off along with 3 kills here in this round. It's going to be another convincing Vitality round. And Empire, they are in free fall on the defensive half ace. Where do they go now?
Well, they're on a slippery slope, as you say. That's it. They're heading downhill and they're heading there quickly. And there's only one location at the bottom of that hill, and that is a 3-point regulation time loss, which is going to be the case here. But that has bigger ramifications in the grand scheme of things. First and foremost, it moves Empire down into 6th place in Stage 3 and allows Vitality to leapfrog them in that chase for a spot at the major. In the grand scheme of things over the entire 2021, where we group all the points together from stage 1, 2 and 3, it also ties Vitality up with Team Empire and Kavana in that chase for the 4th place spot, which will take somebody to the league final. So this is a big result that is potentially coming for Vitality. And honestly, Des, at the minute, I don't see this game getting past this round because Empire have had nothing on the defence.
They haven't. I mentioned earlier on, this is now the 4th round in a row where they've had a dominating victory. The first 3 with 4 players left alive, that previous one with 3. And it doesn't matter they're leaving it to the final 10, 15 seconds to look for a plant, for example. It is just that dominant through and through. Something's got to change very clearly on the defensive side, in the basement, on this final potential defense coming out of Empire. Otherwise, it has got to be a 3-round rally to send us through to overtime.
Empire just aren't reacting very well to those sort of catalyst or like spark moments that are coming out of Vitality.
They look slow.
I mean, we've had Joystick speak before. I'm not offering an excuse out to Empire here, but we have had Joystick say before that they do struggle a little bit more in those sorts of gunfights whereby ping can play an impact, given Empire's ping. And Vitality are just working with that brilliantly. Rise just on the first gym and bedroom round, bang, straight in through bathroom, gets himself an opening kill, unexpectedly bursting into sight, and this time it's like a drop into logistics and takes a couple out. And it's just been really great explosive play from Rise particularly, but Vitality as a whole, and just coming in with that sort of mentality of, right, let's get ourselves ready and let's just hit them hard and fast and just explode into the round at the halfway mark. It's worked beautifully for them.
And it's Rise again. No real respect on the vertical coming out for Dan. Easily and comfortably taken out. And you were speaking about Rise. He's had some of these big plays where it's been about the aggression coming out of P4. Bibu has been massive for me in the late round with a couple of kills that have come the way. And now Joystick at least bringing something back for Empire, but you still lost yourself that opening kill.
I tell you what, there's people going to be scared of bringing Vitality to Clubhouse rather than Empire after watching this performance, because they've been very solid so far. Just showing a real understanding and mastery of the map, able to get in there, close down angles, force roamers out, and just really get everything that they need out of the map, to be honest, when they're on the attack particularly. Now, P4 is just going to hold the angle down into blue there. There's 2 men that he could hold up there, that he could look to make the challenge onto, while Shinka starts to open things up vertically. We've got EMPs coming out as well. That's just looking to potentially play into any pre-placed nitros, and that's exactly what he does. Very well played. There was no doubt information coming in from a drone that had spotted that out potentially.
Just fell from the ceiling once the sledge stepped forward and hammered it out at the top as well. So recoverable, arguably, but I doubt you really want to be stepping underneath an open floor to try and recover a C4 unless you fancy a few shots to the back of the brain. Bibu now looking to push his way down oil. We've seen him pushing up here a couple of times so far. The man's...
Free bit.
Why? I don't know. You know the drone's coming in. I guess he assumes the man is standing out in the open, but like you say, an absolute freebie coming in for Bibu as he now starts working his way further down oil. Blue is exposed. They've got P4 walking his way forward too. Rise now rotating his way out towards Moto. You can see what the focus is going to be, but in a 5 versus 3, Vitality's Bs are about to sting.
35 seconds or just less left to go, and Vitality looking to pressure onto site. They've got a man advantage. Down comes the EMP to start clearing out some of that utility. Shepard just applying the smoke canister, but importantly, that is side the shutdown at the boxes. There goes Shepard, and the net is tightening around always now. He is stuck in a corner as Vitality have everything locked down. The audacity, Des. Look how close they're planting to him, just on the other side of the vending machine. But there is absolutely nothing that the last man of Empire can do about it, and Vitality with great professionalism managed to close that game out and they take the win from Empire on Clubhouse.
Dismantling Empire really is the only way that you can describe it. The first half, a couple of dicey rounds you might wager. Good plant focus coming out of Empire, very good on the objective, but a bit slow at points. A couple of good rounds from Vitality. As soon as we moved into that second half, there was nothing to be said. Vitality were in gear 4. Empire was still stuck in first, stalling the engine out a few times over. Never really got going.
No, and honestly, after the first half, I really thought it was going to be a closer game. I was surprised, but they just weren't able to continue the threat, essentially, Empire. They were just completely nullified in that second half.
Absolutely were, yeah. Some big plays coming out of P4 on Rise as well. Yeah. 2 players who got to give a massive shout to. A couple of moments where it was like peeking out of bedroom windows that you get shut down for, but no one's going to remember that. It's things like Rise's 2K drop in towards logistics that will be remembered, as well as the 7-3 scoreline. Now that we have gone through the motions, as Milos put it, let's get over to the desk and get their thoughts on what they think after a quick break.